Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is I, Jolting Joe, coming to you live on a Tuesday from my back porch. And what are you drinking? What are you smoking now? I just fired up this Barber Pole here, which you've seen me smoke quite a bit because I got a lot of them. These are my free cigars. But before we got going, I smoked, well, smoked this one. This is all the way down to the heroin. That's right. They had the heroin down here. All right, so you got to smoke it down the heroin. But this, just to let you know, this was an LFD, La Flor Dominica Reserve Especial. All right, it was a Connecticut wrapper. Good smoke. Enjoyed it. Very good. All right, and that's what's going on with that. So I just fired up another one. As far as what you're drinking, got a couple things out here now. This is a St. Arnold's that I've aged for a year. But this is a Belgian style quad. Of course, this is from last year, so I put on here when to drink it, or when it came out. So this was February 2022. But this was aged in oak barrels. Very, very tasty here. So cheers, everybody. And I also brought another one out. Also, one that I've aged a year. That's also St. Arnold's. And I got my keeping it warm in my retro Astros koozie here. But this one is the single barrel Baltic Porter, which is aged in port barrels. All right, so I got that one too. So we'll see how far we get here. All right, a few things to talk about. Let's see here. Let me pull up my phone. All right, and we'll get into a few things here. So first of all, let's see what I got on here. Let me do my screenshots because I got some stuff like this. Okay, first of all, let's start with the NBA for a change today. Okay, I know we don't talk a lot of basketball here on the Jolton Joe Sports Show. Because it's just not it's not one of my favorite sports. I don't follow it too much, but we try to cover everything here on the sports show. So let me get this like ooh, and get this a little crisper here on the edge here. All right, there we go. All right, but let's start with the NBA. So the you gotta love the NBA, man. It's a player driven league. The players have the most power of any of the sports league here in the U.S. And so the Brooklyn Nets, first of all, are fourth in the Eastern Conference. Of course, they got Ben Simmons. They've got not James Harden. They have Kevin Durant, and then they had Kyrie Irving. Well, apparently, what happened is Kyrie wanted a contract extension, was not happy with what the Nets were offering him, and so he decided that he was going to ask for a trade. And so the Nets obliged him. They got rid of. And here's the thing too about the Nets, man. They traded for James Harden. The James Harden wanted out. They sent him. Now Kyrie wants out. Kevin Durant wanted out, changed his mind. So I don't know what the fuck's going on there in Brooklyn. I don't know if it's the organization. I don't know if it's the ownership. I don't know. Kyrie got Steve Nash fired as the coach, and then decides that he wants out. Okay. So Brooklyn said, all right, we're not going to move you. We're going to make you sit until we find some place to move you. And they did find some place to move him. On Sunday, the Brooklyn Nets traded Kyrie Irving to the Dallas Mavericks. Now, the Mavericks sent to Brooklyn Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a first-round pick, and multiple second-round picks to Brooklyn. Now, in my opinion, Dallas gave up a lot for Kyrie. And here's the thing about Kyrie. Kyrie, great basketball player. Absolutely great, but not the best human being in the world, right? He just had the anti-Semitic things. He had the whole COVID thing where he refused to get vaccinated. All kinds of stuff. You just go down the list, all right? He's, flat earther. I mean, just all kinds of stuff with Kyrie. Dallas gives up a lot of him, but I think Dallas, is trying to win now. Now, he does have a player option. So if he likes Dallas, he can stay in Dallas. But they did give up a lot for him, but they needed somebody for Luka. They needed somebody, so Luka can't do everything all the time. So I think that was kind of the point of why they did it. They needed one more piece, and the Mavericks think that they can get one more piece. All right. where it's kind of like the Rams last year, where the Rams traded everybody and traded for everybody to go all in and win a Super Bowl. And they got Matt Stafford, they got Von Miller, they, and some other folks. And sure enough, they fucking went all in. They fucking won the Super Bowl, and then of course they didn't even make the playoffs this year, but they won a Super Bowl. They got a Super Bowl ring out of it. And I think Dallas may be trying to do the same thing as far as that goes. But that was the big NBA news, is that Kyrie Irving got traded to the Dallas Mavericks, and that's kind of that was kind of the big thing with with that. All right. Um, just got this from ESPN as well. The Nets are Brooklyn has thus far told inquiring teams they don't plan on trading Kevin Durant before Thursday's deadline. That's according to Woj. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Let's see here. So that was kind of the big thing with that. All right. So that's your big NBA news as far as that goes. And hell, let me pull up the old ESPN here and kind of see what's going on with this. Apparently, too, Aaron Rodgers is undecided on 2023. That was on the Pat McAfee show. We'll get into the NFL stuff here in just a minute. Let's see here. Anything going on? Nothing big there as far as that goes. So just kind of let you know here as far as the NBA is concerned. Go to the standings here. All right. Whoops. So Boston's leading the Eastern Conference. I believe they got the best record in the NBA right now. They are 38-16. So yeah, they have they're a little bit better than Denver right now. Followed by Milwaukee, then Philly, Brooklyn. Like I said, Brooklyn number 4 in the East, and they trade one of their best players, but he wanted out. And that's the thing about the NBA. If a player wants out, they will oblige him. They will trade him. It's like I said, it's a player driven league. Followed by Cleveland and Miami, and then you've got the Knicks, the Bulls, the Hawks, and the Wizards, kind of rounding out that top 10 there. So just outside the playoffs, you've got the Pacers, the Raptors, the Magic, the Hornets, and then bringing up the rear there is the Pistons, who are 14-41. In the Western Conference, Denver's leading the way, followed by Memphis, Sacramento, Golden State. Finally got their shit together, apparently. For a while there, I mean, Golden State, the defending champions, of course, they were not doing very well. But now Golden State is number 4 in the West. They're sitting at 28-26, just a couple games above 500. If you kind of look at the East, it's probably going to be a 2, maybe a 3 team race there, because now that Brooklyn traded Kyrie, it's really Boston who, of course, who was in the finals last year, and Milwaukee is basically what's going to come down to in the East. And like I said, and Philly's right there too. And the West is wide fucking open. So you got Denver followed by Memphis, Sacramento. Excuse me, Sacramento, Golden State. Dallas is at 29-26. That just made the big trade for Kyrie. Followed by Phoenix. Then you got the Clippers, Nolans, Minnesota, and OKC. And then, of course, out of the playoff picture is Portland, Utah. But they're not that far out, really. Portland's only half a game back of OKC. Utah is only a game back of OKC. Lakers only a game and a half back of OKC. Lakers finally got, Lakers really aren't that great, but they kind of got their shit together. Also, too, LeBron, he should be breaking the all-time record here pretty shortly as far as the scoring title goes. Now, for you NBA folks, you know that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is the all-time leading scorer. And really, when it comes down to the greats, Kareem usually kind of gets left out of the conversation, but the man does have the all-time scoring record. LeBron's going to end up passing him. Okay, and as far as that goes, and that gets you into the whole, who's better, Jordan or LeBron? I mean, I grew up watching Michael Jordan. For me, it's Michael. LeBron, I think. I mean, it's by the time his career is over. Now, LeBron's got a lot longer career than Michael did, but fucking LeBron can still fucking score, man. And I think for me, it's going to be 1A, 1B. As far as the greatest of all time go. But I'm still on Michael. Michael, Michael played better defense than LeBron. Uh, Michael could definitely drive the basket. LeBron can score anywhere on the floor. And then, of course, if you look at championships, obviously Michael was 6, and then LeBron's got the 3. So 6-3 there. But like I said, I mean, you can make an argument for, yeah, I mean, you can obviously make an argument for LeBron. I understand it. I get it. Me personally, I'm an MJ guy. I still say it's Michael. All right, that's just where I stand. So they're just sitting just outside, and then San Antonio and the Rockets are bringing up the rear. San Antonio 14-40, the Rockets 13-41, and the Rockets got blown the fuck out the other night against OKC. I mean, they got their asses beat and beat pretty fucking bad. Uh, for you Houston folks, we'll see what happens with the Rockets. Is Stephen Silas going to hang around, or is he going to get fired at the end of the season? We'll see. They'll probably, I mean, they're obviously going to have one more high draft pick, at least probably the number 1 or number 2 pick, depending on how the draft lottery goes. But they got to start showing improvement next season. They have to, right? Because the rebuild is on, but they got to show some fucking improvement at this time. But they're 13-41, and right now Detroit's 14-41. So the winning percentage for Detroit is 255, Rockets 241. So right now, the Rockets do have the worst record in the NBA. All right, so that's your NBA. Let's go ahead and hit the NHL up. Check out their standings, and I haven't been able to watch a lot of NHL, but just going to keep you updated on that. The Boston Bruins still leading the way in the Atlantic in the Eastern Conference, followed by the Maple Leafs, the Lightning, the Sabres, the Panthers, the Senators, the Red Wings, and the Canadiens. In the Metropolitan, you got Carolina leading the way, followed by New Jersey, then the Rangers, the Caps, the Pens, the Islanders, the Flyers, and then Columbus is running out the bottom. Western Conference, Dallas still leading the way as far as that goes. So here in Texas, they are 29-13 with 10 overtime losses. They had leading the way with 68 points, followed by Winnipeg, Minnesota, Colorado, Nashville, St. Louis, Arizona, and Chicago. Out in the Pacific, you got the Kraken there in Seattle are 29-15, followed by the Kings, and then Vegas, Edmonton, Calgary, Vancouver, San Jose, and Anaheim. So that's what you're looking at as far as that goes. All right, and I can't quite see if I can get this little sucker out here. Got a little bit uneven, so we'll torch the shit out of it. Or we'll just keep sucking. All right. All right. So that's kind of what's going on in the NHL. Baseball news, not really too much to go into baseball. I think everybody's kind of set. Spring training's getting ready to start here this month. We got the World Baseball Classic coming up as well. So we'll get into that a little bit. So, of course, I'm wearing my Astros gear, and, that's just kind of the way it is. So, And also, too, with that, we can talk about Evan Drellich. He's the one that broke the cheating scandal story about the Astros in 2017. And got a book coming out, but I mean, it's like 5 years later at this point. You know what I mean? Like, since the story broke, we're getting close to that. So it's like, seems like if you were going to do a book, you were going to do it right after the fact. But so we'll see how that ends up doing. But I don't know if there's anything really new in there. A lot about Correa. I mean, Alex Cora, of course, and things like that. And so, that's the whole thing. I mean, you're kind of beating a dead horse with that. At this point, you've got Astro haters, and then you've got Astro fans like me that are going to defend the team until they fucking die. And the thing about it is, with me personally, look, they fucking cheated. They fucking deserved everything they fucking got. Okay. But you got to remember too, I know a lot of people wanted punishment for the players and stuff, but you have a union, and the players said, "Look, this is what we're going to say. This is, if you don't suspend us, we'll talk." Okay, and that was the deal that was made. Whether you like it or not, that was the deal that was made. If you don't like Manfred for it, I get it, I understand, but once again, there's a fucking players union. All right, and then like I said too, that what the Astros did was a little bit more egregious, and then once again too, they did not knock it off when they were told to knock it off. All right, but the Yankees did it, the Red Sox did it. All right, there was probably other teams doing it, but like I said, there wasn't anything in the rules about it. Then the memo went out. They got busted. They deserve everything they get. Now, Drellick has a big beef with the Astros. He used to be the beat writer for the Houston Chronicle here in town before he joined the Athletic. All right, and then excuse me. Oh, sorry, man. But anyway, so it kind of is what it is, at this point. And so, like, I get it. I get it why people don't like the Astros because they cheated, but also too because they've stayed fucking good. And I think that's the biggest thing for us Astros fans is we're really pissed off that they fucking cheated because they didn't need to. And I think that's really what it comes. That's really what it comes down to. It's like, because if y'all motherfuckers would have knocked it off when you're fucking supposed to, none of this would have been a fucking issue. 2017 would have been fine because once again, the Yankees got busted in 2017. The Red Sox got busted in 2017. If the Astros would have got busted in 2017, and knocked it off when they were supposed to, they would have been fine. Okay, we wouldn't be talking about this, but they did it. All right, and I understand the hate. I get it. It's just at this point it's a little tiresome because we're so far removed from it, and also too, there's now with Verlander gone from the Astros, there's only two players left from 2017. It doesn't look like they're going to re-sign Yuli. So right now, the only two guys on the roster for the Astros that were part of the cheating scandal were Jose Altuve and Alex Bregman, and that is it. And Cora's making a shit ton of money playing for the fucking Twins. All right, Tony Kipp has a nice career playing for the A's. And other, and fucking, Marvin Gonzalez was playing for the fucking Yankees, last year. So these guys are all over the fucking place now. Verlander's playing for the fucking Mets now. So as Astro fans, we're just tired of fucking hearing about it. At the same time, but like I said, I think if the Astros would have sucked, there wouldn't be as much hate. But the fact that they've remained good, and since 2017 have gone to 3 World Series. Now, granted, they only won one of them, but have been to 3 World Series. And then in 2020 also went to the ALCS. Now, once again, fluky fucking, year and shit. And, they were one game under fucking 500 and probably shouldn't have been there in the first place. But it is what it was. It was the pandemic. It was 2020. Okay. So it just kind of is what it is, man. It's just one of those fucking things, man. So, and I think that's just where everybody's at. There's people that won't ever let the Astros live it down, and then there's folks like us. And I think sometimes it's blind defense where it's like my team can do no wrong. I'm not one of those people, but at the same time, I'm fucking tired of hearing about it. So it's like and like I said, it's been by the start of this season it'll be 6 years, and it's like, well, we've heard all the jokes, we've heard all the trash can jokes. It's fine. Come up with something new. Come up with something original. All right, that's just kind of where the fuck we're at with that. All right, so anyway, that's baseball. All right, spend the rest of the show here talking about the NFL. All right, and a couple big things first in NFL news. So first of all, and actually this broke as I got off when I finished up last week, but the Houston Texans hired a new coach. They hired DeMeco Ryans of San Francisco. Of course, he was the defense coordinator for San Francisco. DeMeco also played for the Texans. It was only natural. I mean, that's who every Texan fan wanted, I think, was DeMeco Ryans. But they made a big splash, big homecoming for DeMeco. His wife's from Houston. They're coming back to Houston. He is the best selection they could have made. Now, they're still not going to be very good next year. Now, all the pressure, all the onus is on Nick Caserio, the general manager, to put a team around DeMarco. But DeMarco's like, I'll coach him up. Let's get this shit done. Let's get the Texans back to where they should be. So the Texans finally did something fucking right. And now they don't look at us so much as a fucking dumpster fire. All right. And they still have the second pick in the draft, which they shouldn't. They should have the first pick. That's kind of on Nick Caserio because he should have just deactivated fucking everybody. And of course, Levy's last fuck you was going for 2 and winning that game. There's also some talk about what the Bears are going to do with the number 1 pick. Last I heard, because there was talk that they were going to move on from Justin Fields. And the thing about it is, I think Justin Fields is kind of incomplete right now. He is running the ball too much. He's not going to last too long if he keeps running as much as he's running. Because he's a fucking quarterback. He's rushing for like 1,000 yards last year. All right, which is kind of insane. But he doesn't have a lot around him. So, the Bears are kind of in, a little bit of a rebuild mode. as far as that goes. And so I think giving Fields, ooh, Ash broke off right as I was going to flick it. That was perfect. But as far as that goes, I think it's good to stick with Fields and see what you fucking got. All right, because you don't know these rookies coming out, whether it's Stroud, whether it's Caleb Williams, whether it's the kid from Kentucky whose name escapes me at this present moment, who I'll try to look up here in a minute. It's up to. It's up to that as far as that goes. All right. But right now they say that the pick, is up for sale. So if anybody wants to trade for them, they'll take the draft picks and maybe move out of that first round spot. Because the Texans are, because whoever moves up is probably going to be looking for a quarterback, and that might be the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll see what kind of happens as far as that is concerned. So we'll see what happens. But the Texans did something right. They hired DeMeco Ryans. Now that brings us to Denver. The Broncos end up hiring Sean Payton, of course, formerly of New Orleans. They gave New Orleans was asking for a first round pick. Denver did have one first round. Now remember, they gave a lot for Russell Wilson, but they did have a first round pick. They sent that to. They're not going to have a pick until I think the third round. I think this year, something like that, something crazy. But hopefully, Sean Payton can fix Russell Wilson, like he fixed Drew Brees. I don't know if Drew Brees really needed to be fixed, but of course, Sean Payton had a lot of success there in New Orleans. Apparently, DeMeco, though, now there's debating things here because Ian Rappaport was saying one thing, Adam Schefter was saying something else. Schefter was saying that all along Denver was going for DeMeco, but Schefter, of course, works for ESPN. He might have a little bit more loyalty to Denver, and I think Schefter, is from Denver or something like that. And of course, when you want to keep your sources, you're going to make the organization look good, and so I think that was what he was trying to do. I trust Rappaport here because Rappaport works for the NFL. He works for the NFL Network, and so really, fucking Rappaport has nothing to lose. He's gonna do it. But apparently, from what Rappaport was saying, is that the Broncos really wanted DeMeco Ryans, and then when DeMeco wasn't available, they tried to get Jim Harbaugh from Michigan, and then Harbaugh stayed in Michigan. DeMeco wanted to go to the Texans. He was not interested in the Denver job once the Texans job opened up because he wanted to come home, play and coach the team that he used to play for, and basically Sean Payton was their third choice. Right, but they get Sean Payton. So the only two vacancies that are left is Arizona. Arizona still has not hired a coach, and neither has the Colts. Those are the only two that are vacant. There's only 5 openings this year. Carolina, of course, hired Frank Reich. Texans hired DeMeco Ryans. Broncos hired Sean Payton. So the only two left are Indianapolis and Arizona. And of course, what's coming out of Indy is that Jim Irsay, the owner, really wants to keep Jeff Saturday. I don't think that's very smart, but it's his money. He can do whatever he wants. He owns the fucking team. And Jeremy Irsay, he might be drinking a little bit too much. He might be doing too many lines of coke. But it is kind of what it is as far as that is concerned. But that's kind of the big coaching news that come up. And so we'll see what happens with how DeMeco builds his staff, with how Sean Payton builds his staff, and going forward here. All right. Also, too, the Jets hired Nathaniel Hackett to be their offensive coordinator. The Chargers hired Kellen Moore to be their offensive coordinator. The Cowboys just hired a new offensive coordinator too, but he's not going to have as much power because McCarthy is going to call the plays there in Dallas. So that's kind of where we stand on the coaching stuff. Sunday is the Super Bowl from Arizona. Of course, it's going to be the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, when this opened up a couple of weeks, the opening line that I saw was that Philly was favored by 2.5, and then it went down to 2, and then it went down to 1.5. And as I'm looking at it right now on the site that I use for betting, Kansas City is still or I should say the Eagles are still a 1.5 favorite. On the money line, KC is at plus 103. They've kind of been fluctuating on the money line. I've seen them as high as plus 111. I've seen them as low as 103. Yesterday they were at 106. So there might be some money coming in on the Chiefs on the money line. The over-under has gone up. It had opened up at 49 and a half. It went up to 50. It went up to 50 and a half. Now it is up to 40. Excuse me, it is up to 51. Now, I'm a fan of the NFC East. I'm a Commanders fan. I fucking don't like the Eagles. I cannot root for the Eagles. Fuck the Eagles. They can go fuck themselves as far as I'm concerned. Take your grease, shove it up your ass. All right, that's kind of where I'm at on the Eagles. I cannot physically root for the Eagles. Mahomes, good old Texas boy, win the Texas Tech. I'm going to be rooting for the Chiefs. I'm probably going to money line the Chiefs because I cannot physically root for fucking Philly. Now, this is going to be a toss-up game. I think it depends on how healthy Pat Mahomes is. How's the ankle? Is the ankle going to be okay? I think that's what it's going to eventually come down to. All right. Also, Philly's got a way better defense than Kansas City does. All right, I think Pat Mahomes has got his old Texas Tech defense. They're going to score a lot of points. They're going to give up a lot of points. All right, but where I think if Kansas City can keep Jalen Hurts contained, because Hurts does like to take off. He's a good running quarterback, but Hurts can also throw the fucking football. Casey's going to have a shot. So we'll kind of see how it goes, and we'll see. In the Philly defense, they've given up a lot of points. They gave a lot of points to Dallas. What was that, week 16, I think it was? They gave them a lot of points to Dallas. Of course, they ended up losing to New Orleans, week 18, and then, of course, beat the Giants to clinch the number 1 seed in week 18. So, Mahomes is really good. He's got Kelsey. He's got the guy with 2 names, Scallion, Valdez Scallion, whatever his name is. They got him. They still got Juju Smith-Schuster. All right, they got a good running game. So we'll kind of see how that kind of shakes out as far as the Super Bowl goes. The Super Bowl this Sunday, of course. So hopefully everybody's got some plans to bet the game and all that kind of fun stuff and all that stuff. Looking at the under, though, the total here, 51, I think. I think this is screaming for an under. That's my gut feeling looking at this. I think the under is going to hit. This game could easily be 27-24. This could be a field goal game, 27-24. 27-24 gets you the 50. Actually, that would be a push, wouldn't it? 27-24. Because one carry the one. No, that would only be 40. That'd be 41. All right, that'd be yeah. Right? Shit, I can't fucking math. Also, I've been drinking. I don't know what you want from me. But 27, so that's 27-24. All right, so 7 plus 4 is 11. So drop the 1, carry the 1. All right, 4. So yeah, that would be 51. So that puts it right at 51. Shit, maybe the over does hit. I'm thinking about it now. Fuck. I don't know. The total might be a stay away for me. If it goes up any higher, if it hits like maybe 52, 53, somewhere in that neighborhood, or it's 51 and a half, might take the under, because 51 actually might be the total. I mean, like I said, I'm seeing 27-24 is kind of what I'm seeing as far as that goes. All right, I think it could be. Now, granted, too, it could be a fucking high scoring game. I mean, we could be looking at 31-28 as well. Okay, or fucking 34-31, something like that. I think it's going to be a field goal game. That's just me. I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing it out there. That's where I think it's going to happen. All right. Let's get some of this Baltic Porter going. And then we'll wrap this up. All right. But, so, I mean, like I said, it's just, like I said, if it stays at 51, that might be a stay away for me. So we'll end up seeing. Usually I bet the under on fucking Super Bowls, but hopping good times. There you go. So we'll see. Oh, and the other one. What was the other one? All hopped up. All right, but anyway, I mean, we'll just kind of have to see what happens there as far as that goes. Okay. Let me rinse my glass out a little bit. But yeah, so we'll kind of see what happens with we'll kind of see what happens with that. All right, let me pour this. Here we go. All right. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Look at that. All right, we'll get this going. All right, let's see how this tastes after a year. Ooh, you can taste the port in that. That is fucking good. Okay, but like I said, I mean that's kind of where I'm at on this. So I'll probably take, like I said, I'll probably take the Chiefs on the money line, and then I might just, I'm trying to get back to even here, man. I had a shit fucking season, man. Made some really bad big bets. So I'm still kind of in the hole here, but I got some money to play around with. So we'll just money line the Chiefs and see what the fuck happens. But like I said, I don't know. Chiefs have been there before. That says something about it. Eagles haven't. So maybe in the early going, a lot of times you get the nerves going and shit like that. So maybe the Chiefs will end up doing it. So we'll see what happens. But like I said, I'm going to money line the Chiefs, and then the over under, man, the total on that. Like I said, man, if it goes up, I'd bet the under, but man, right now it'd be a stay away from me. So there you go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to do it for the Jilt and Joe Sports Show this week. And remember, find me on Twitter at JJSportsShow63. That's at JJSportsShow63. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and all that good stuff. And yeah, go to the Super Bowl party. Eat, drink, be merry, have a good time. We'll all be hungover on Monday. And, let's make Monday a fucking national holiday, I'll tell you what. So, all right, once again, ladies and gentlemen, cheers. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Have a good time. All right, and go Chiefs. Fuck the Eagles. All right, we'll see you next week.